In today's Microsoft Flight Simulator news video, we're talking about the latest news from PMDG with their 777 and a lot more, so let's get into it. But before we do, be sure you subscribe. A polite request to make sure you do if you haven't done already. We've had some really interesting videos on the channel lately, from talking about the Phoenix A320 to a British Airways trip report to speaking about the upcoming World Hub. Click that button down below, trust me, you won't regret it, and it really is much appreciated. Without further delay, let's get into it. Now first off, a small update on the 777, this very exciting long haul airliner for PC and Xbox by the well known PMDG. Now it seems that the work on the 777 is continuing on at a smooth and steady rate. To quote Robert Radazzo from his most recent forum post, flight model testing is going exceedingly well, system integration is also going well, and the interior is beginning to look exquisite, especially in the cabin, but in the cockpit fine details are almost complete, although it is a bit ambiguous to what that means at the moment. All this information is off the forum post, so please do check it out. I will tell you it's not the most thorough update, but it is nice to hear. Towards the end of this post, we hear that the word beta is even being used in some internal PMDG discussions. It doesn't mean it's in beta just yet, but do make of that what you will. All in all, some light but very exciting updates about a project we are all eager for. To remind you, we will be getting both the 777-300 and 200 by PMDG, and this will be payware for both PC and Xbox. Now, it would not be a PMDG video without talking about the EFB, the electronic flight bag for the Boeing 737 next generation family. Now, despite many extensive and frankly glorious updates for the 737s across all platforms, as we all know, there is still no sign of the EFB. It seems we're in somewhat of a similar situation since we last spoke about the electronic flight bag, with limited, if any, information over when we will actually see it flying around, or not flying around I should say, sitting to the left or right of us in our 737s. Now it comes as a given that when it does eventually come, it will come as a free update to the 737 NG aircraft across PC and Xbox. And while I would say that any free additions to any payware aircraft into the future should be applauded, it would be an understatement to say that PMDG are taking their time. A lot in the community really want to see the EFB, although personally I have to say I'm not too fussed about it. I really enjoy the 737 as it is, but I know a lot of you want it. A short but sweet update from the PMDG team. These updates are helpful, but a lot of the time there's a lot more words than there is information, so hopefully I've sussed it down for you guys. Now moving on to Simworks Studios with their Pilatus PC12. Via their usual platforms, i.e. Facebook, they've announced that they are nearing the point in which they will send a build of their Pilatus PC12 over to Pilatus themselves, the aircraft manufacturer in Switzerland of course. Now it should be noted that they are not at this stage yet, but are getting very close. As they say on Facebook, all aircraft systems are complete, avionics are mostly done, as well as the external model also being mostly done, with a few tweaks needed to be made elsewhere before they will send it over to Pilatus. Now I simply cannot wait for this aircraft, as it's one I deal with almost every week in my day job, but of course the adult in me prefers the time to be taken to ensure all is fine and dandy. I speak to some of the Simworks Studios team and they know, as much as you know, that I am buzzing for this. I really cannot wait to see it. Now as we shift away from the PC12, we move over to European politics. Who would have thought you'd hear that in a pilot stud video? Now the reason behind that is because Aerosoft have been awarded a €460,000 grant from the German government who would have thought, to aid them in the development of not only their Airbus A330neo, which we've talked about on the channel before, but also an Airbus A321neo, which of course hasn't been announced in the past, although we did know Aerosoft are working on another Airbus aircraft. Now, while I did take politics at college and thoroughly enjoyed it, I did not take German politics, so I'm afraid I'm not too clued up on the German treasury. That being said, the reason Aerosoft have been awarded this grant is because it seems to be part of an initiative to bolster German video game developers. In fact, we only learn of this information via a federal German website as opposed to Aerosoft themselves. It certainly is an interesting development, but with plenty of information still needed, this is definitely one for the future. In some people's eyes, Aerosoft have taken a tumble with their reputation over recent years, so how this A321neo will turn out is yet to be discovered. Now finally, with some airport releases, Teeside Airport in North England has been released by FlyX Simulations for Microsoft Flight Sim, so far on PC, although I do believe it's been sent over to the marketplace. This seems to be a small but well detailed airport that seems to be perfect for those of you who enjoy Ryanair ops, as Ryanair operate out of there in real life. It comes in at a price of £12 UK and is available off the InnyBuild store. Sticking with indie builds, how about Ponta Delgada Airport, located in the Portuguese Azores, an isolated but large international airport that serves as a mid-Atlantic hub for flights to Europe or North America. This is by indie builds and is available off their website for £13 Great British pounds. I'm a big fan of indie builds. I think their work is great value for money and they are so beautifully detailed, but that's not me being necessarily impartial, but I am a great fan of their work. And last but not least, Sitka Airport in beautiful Alaska has been released by Northern Sky Studio, available off Sim Market for €16.50, which off the top of my head is around 13 to 12 UK pounds. This airport in real life is served all year round by Alaska and seasonally by Delta, so some good options there if you enjoy some Airbus A320 operations. I don't fly around in Alaska too much, but I know quite a few of you guys are American, so it may take your interest there. Please check it out with the link down below. On that note guys, a chock-a-block video for you all today. Be sure you've subscribed if you enjoy these types of videos, it is much appreciated. Want to watch something a bit different? How about you check out the first video in my Pilot Stud History series, where I'll be doing aviation history using real life footage and flight simulation to share some of the more peculiar aviation history stories. On that note guys, have a good day. Thank you so very much for watching. Bye bye.